Hey, how you doing? I hope you did well on the test you just took. We are now on the final unit, the square root property and completing the square. Make sure that you take the quiz first before you do this test or this homework assignment. Let's see, 9.1 to 9.3. Okay. Yeah, you don't need to do 6.5 because we've already done that. Excuse me. Oops, homework. Okay, section 9.1. Find the measure of the angles marked X and Y. Little review here from chapter 4, and it's nice to review that now because it'll help get us ready for what's coming up in this unit. X plus Y equals 90, and the reason for that is this angle here is 90, and since all three add up to 180, that must be true. And 2x plus 50 plus y equals 180. Because these two angles have to add up to 180. Let's subtract 50 from each side here, and then we can use our calculator to solve. 2x plus y equals 130. So let's take out our calculator and solve two equations and two unknowns. The first equation, so we have mode 5, 1 is 190. And the second one is 130. And so we get x is 40 and y is 50. 40 and 50. Number 2. Quadratic equation here. What two numbers multiplied equal 35? Negative. I'll solve it by factoring, even though you can do this on your calculator pretty quickly. B plus 7, B plus 5 equals 0. So B equals negative 7 and negative 5. Number 3. Now we're on to, Now we're on to this chapter. M squared is 98, square root both sides, plus or minus M equals plus or minus square root 98, which is 7 square root 2. Type the exact answer, use commas to separate. So 7 root 2, comma, negative 7 root 2. Number 4. What in the world? Okay, so t squared equals 192, square root both sides, plus or minus square root 192. 192 is 9 root 2, so 9 square root 2, comma, negative 9 square root 2. Uh-oh. I better do the square root of 192. Clear. Mode 1. Square root 192 equals 8 root 3. Wow, was I off, huh? Square root 192 is 8 root 3. Somehow I thought it was 81 times 2, but it's 64 times 3. So this is 3, oops, 8 root 3, and 8 root 3. Now I got it right. Just a second. Number 5. Okay, we have x minus 3 squared is 19. So x minus 3 squared square root is plus or minus square root 19. The square root cancels that, so you have x minus 3 equals plus or minus square root 19. Add 3 to both sides. You get x equals 3 plus or minus square root 19. 3 plus square root 19. 3 minus square root 19. Number 6. The height of a building is 1,957 feet. How long would it take an object to fall from the ground? Use the formula distance equals 16t squared. 1957 is 16t squared. Divide both sides by 16. T squared is that. So let's take the square root of both sides, plus or minus. Now it's obviously not going to be negative number of seconds. So on our calculator, it wants it to the nearest tenth of a second. So let's use a calculator. Square root fraction 1957 over 16, and we get 11.1 seconds. Number 7, solve by completing the square. Okay. Solve by completing the square. So here's how you complete the square. The first thing you do is you rewrite it, x squared minus 13x plus blank equals negative 42 plus blank. So the first thing is to get the constant term to the other side of the equation. Next step is to write x minus, bring down the same sign, take half of this, which is 13 halves, and square it. Okay? Write this number, whatever that squared is, into the blank. 169 over 4. Change the negative 42 to fourths, so that would be 168 fourths. Negative 168 fourths. Add this number also on the other side, 169 fourths. So you have 1/4. Because 169 minus 168 is 1 over 4. Now, take the square root of both sides, plus or minus here, and you get x minus 13 halves is plus or minus 1/2. So x equals, put the 13 on the other side, 13 plus or minus 1 over 2. 13 plus 1 is 14 over 2, which is 7. 13 minus 1 is 12 over 2, which is 6. So our two answers are 7 and 6. Next one, solve by completing the square. Okay, x squared minus half of 18 is 9. Oh, I'm sorry, I should have. X squared minus 18x plus blank equals 4 plus blank. Square this and write it here, 81, 81. Then take the square root of, so that's 85 here. 81 plus 4 is 85. So take the square root of both sides, plus or minus, and you get x minus 9 equals plus or minus square root 85. So x equals 9 plus or minus square root 85. Nine plus square root 85, comma 9 minus square root 85 is, so x equals negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4 times a times c over 2a. So negative 18 plus or minus square root, I'm going to just do that, 18 squared minus 4 times 70 is square root 44 over 2. Square root of 44 is 2 root 11. So we have negative 18 plus or minus 2 root 11 over 2. Divide everything by 2, and you have negative 9 plus or minus root 11. Now you can use your calculator for this one too. So you go mode 5, 3, and you enter 1, 18, and 70, and your calculator says negative 9 plus square root 11, and oops, I put the comma in the wrong spot, and negative 9 minus square root 11. Next one, solve by completing the square. Okay, 9x squared plus 15x equals 14. The first thing you have to do is divide by the first coefficient so that you get x squared plus, now let's simplify this. No, let's not. 15 ninths x plus blank equals 14 ninths plus blank. Okay, x plus half of this is 15 18ths squared. 15 squared is 225. 18 squared, oops, clear. 18 squared is 324. 225 over 324. 324 divided by 9 is 36. We have to multiply top and bottom by 36 here. And 14 times 36 is 504. So 504 and 225 is 729 over 324. 729 square root of 729 is 27. Oops, we have to, just a second, I was going one step farther than where you guys were. Okay, so we get x plus 15/18 is 27 over square root 324 is 18. Subtract 8, so it's plus or minus. Subtract 15/18 from both sides. So 15/18 plus 27 is, or negative 15 plus 27 is 12/18, which is 2/3. Negative 15 minus 27/18. Negative 15 minus 27 is negative 42/18, which is 7/3. So 2/3 and 7/3 are our solutions. Fraction 2/3, comma, fraction 7/3. Now let's check it on our calculator. Mode 5, 3, 9, 15, and then put the 14 on the other side, it becomes negative 14, and we get 2/3 and negative 7/3. Negative 7/3. Number 11, find all the complex solutions to the following equation. Okay, so r minus 3 squared is negative 2. R minus 3, let's take the square root of both sides, plus or minus, is plus or minus square root 2i, because the square root of negative 1 is I. So we have r equals 3 plus or minus root 2i. 3 plus root 2i. Make sure the I is outside the square root. 3 minus square root 2i. Number 12. 2k minus 1 squared is negative 8. Take the square root of both sides. Remember, it's plus or minus. 2k minus 1, the square root cancels the square, equals plus or minus square root 8i, but square root of 8 is actually 2 root 2. Let's add 1 to each side to get rid of this 1 over here. So we get 2k is 1 plus or minus 2 root 2i. Divide everything by 2. So our answer is 1 plus or minus 2 root 2i over 2. Fraction 1 plus 2 root 2i over 2, comma, fraction 1 minus 2 root 2i over 2. Last one, solve by completing the square. This one you can also check your work on your calculator. So it'll be b squared plus 2b plus blank equals negative 26 plus blank. B plus half of 2b is 1 squared. 1 squared is 1. Negative 25 plus 1 is negative 26 plus 1 is negative 25. Take the square root of both sides. Remember, it's plus or minus. So b plus 1 equals plus or minus 5i. Square root of 25 is 5. Square root of negative 1 is I. So b equals negative 1 plus or minus 5i. Negative 1 minus 5i. Negative 1 plus 5i. And that's the lesson.